Welcome back to the Fearless Females Voice podcast, where women's stories and experiences are shared in order to empower and inspire others. I am going solo again on this episode, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts and experiences on finding your purpose. So this seems to be a hot topic at the moment. It's something that many women, including my clients, are struggling with, and something I've also struggled with in the past. So what does it mean exactly to find your purpose? It's a phrase that's being thrown around, but maybe not properly understood. Firstly, passion and purpose are two different things. Passion is about what you enjoy and what motivates you, and your purpose is the why behind it all. What you're here for, what you're meant to be doing. Identifying your passion can lead to finding your purpose, but not in every scenario. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But most people tend to start with finding their passion, which then they hope will lead to finding the purpose. And there's no right or wrong. This is definitely one way of doing it. So let's get more into this. And I want to share more about my story and how I found my purpose and the challenges that I faced whilst getting there. So when I was in my engineering career for 8 years, I only knew one direction, and that was forwards. I knew I wanted to progress in my career, and progression for me at the time meant promotions, more money, and doing well. I was working in the corporate world for around 8 years, as I said, and when you're a fresh grad starting off, that was fine. I was happy to put in the hours. I was happy to get the job done, and I was actually enjoying my work. I've always been extremely ambitious, and I think this stems from my parents not having the right education when they moved from Africa to the UK. So I wanted to make the most of the opportunities that I was given and strive for my own version of greatness. So I did what I knew that society was telling me to do. So I went to school, then I went to college, and then I was told by my career counselor in college that I should then move to university. That's all I was told. There was no other option. So I had no idea what I wanted to do back then. So I went off my passions. So I loved science and maths, but better yet, it was two of my strongest subjects. So I loved science and maths. I was very, very strong in those subjects. But because I've always been curious-minded, I also loved other subjects such as art, history, textiles, and music. But I was conditioned to think that those subjects wouldn't give me a strong career. So I eventually dropped those and focused more on the core subjects, the science and the maths. I remember speaking to aunts or people in college and telling them, oh, I love music and I want to pursue it. And them saying to me, really? How can you make money through music? Like, what is the career path there? But I really enjoyed music, and it was a big, big passion of mine. But it didn't mean that I wanted to turn it into a career. So that's one of the things I was talking about earlier around finding your passion doesn't necessarily mean to finding your purpose or your career. So I studied chemical engineering in university, and I went on to getting myself an incredible graduate role in engineering, and I was super, super happy at the time. I was fulfilled, that I landed myself a job and that I was progressing, because my version of progress was finding a job straight after university. That was the next step. And I loved working in my job, earning money and learning new things. It was such a great feeling, and I worked hard to work my way up. It was a heavily male-dominated environment, so I put in the extra work just to gain respect from my colleagues. But then, as the years went on, I started to question what I was doing. Was I in the right type of roles? Was I actually enjoying the work or enjoying the money coming into my bank every single month? It was a really weird feeling, but I pushed it to the back of my mind because I was very grateful to have this job. I continued the only way I really knew how, which was, again, moving forwards. I worked hard and landed 3 promotions within 3.5 years, which was incredible. And what I realized was that when I got my promotions, I wasn't really feeling that happy or content. I just felt like, right, now I've got it. I need to keep moving forwards. I need to now get the next one. I need to now earn more money. And this feeling again consumed me. And I wasn't happy with that feeling. It was just something that was in me to strive for more. Then after 5 years into my career, that feeling of not being fulfilled came back and I started to question things again. But I was in such a great place. I had a loving partner, amazing family and friends, was doing so well at work, but yet I felt empty. I felt like there was something missing and I wanted to do more, but I just wasn't sure what that was or how to even approach it. I felt quite stuck in my career at the time, and I didn't feel like I was progressing, even though I got the promotions. It was really strange and I had to get to the bottom of it. So I decided to get myself a coach to support me and guide me through what I was feeling. I remember speaking to her about it, and I remember telling her that I don't really know why I'm feeling this or what I want to do next in my career or what even was driving that feeling. As I said, I just felt stuck and lost. And through our sessions, she made me realize that my key driver and passion was to help others. So I was already mentoring others in my workplace at the time, and I loved seeing all of them grow, get promotions, get pay rises, and developing as people. That brought me the most joy out of my work that I was doing. And from this realization, it was such an aha moment that, wow, this is it. This is what I love doing as a part of my engineering role. This is what's keeping me going. So I decided to train in coaching, and through leading my teams that I was leading, I implemented my coaching techniques with my colleagues. So I was mentoring and coaching, and I felt so inspired by this, and I knew there was something to it. That is, again, something that kept me going in my career, and it helped me move forwards because I realized that there was more to just getting promotions, getting more money. For me, it was about helping others. In my personal life, I was the person who my friends and family would come to for motivation, encouragement, and a strategy for getting out of a sticky situation. I was and still am, the problem solver. And I recognize this as my strength and passion. I know I can listen well and provide solutions. So, long story short, I got to the point in my career where I was pretty much done. So after this realization that it was more coaching that I was interested in or helping others, I just realized that engineering for me, it just wasn't working. It wasn't bringing me the happiness that I needed. So I made sure that I was in a financially stable position. And after a lot of thought about it and talking to my partner and my family and my friends, I decided to leave my job as I wasn't fully in it. I didn't feel like I was progressing. I felt like there was more that I should be doing. So I did quit. And it was so scary. I was so scared to do it. I remember the conversation that I had with my manager at the time because I was actually promoted 3 months before I left or handed in my resignation. And he was in shock. For me, it was still a shock, but I just knew that I had to do it. I knew I had to move forwards, and this was the way how. I had no idea what I wanted to do next. So I quit without having a backup plan. But that didn't matter to me. I had faith in what I had faith that I would find my path, and my friends and family told me to take some time out to figure things out. And that's exactly what I did. So in February this year, so 2021, I left my work and I felt so free. It was the most amazing feeling of happiness, liberation, and funnily enough, clarity. I had clarity even though I didn't know what I was doing next. It was the most strange feeling, but the best feeling that I'd had in years. So I took 3 months off and I spent time with my loved ones. I did things which I enjoyed and was really loving life. There were a lot of coincidences during that time as well, because the day I left my job is the day that my nephew was born. He was born early. And for me, this was a sign. This is a sign from the universe saying, take time off, spend time with him, spend time with your family. And I hadn't had this kind of a break throughout my career, so it was much needed. And throughout that break, I was still in the space of trying to understand what was next, because this is something that I didn't know, and it was in the back of my mind, but I thought, oh, it's fine, I'll deal with this later. So I started Fearless Females as a passion project in September 2020 because of the coaching that I was doing with my coach at the time, and the realization that I wanted to help others, but not just others, it was women specifically, because I had many experiences that impact me as a woman in my career, also throughout my travels, throughout my life, through the cultural experiences that I've had. And I wanted to raise awareness to this and share my story with others and just support others. I wanted women to support women. That's what my aim was from Fearless Females. I loved connecting with women and hearing their stories, supporting them and raising awareness to the challenges that us women face. So after taking 3 months off, I was wondering whether to start looking for jobs, whether to start working in the corporate world again. But then I thought, what would I even do? Do I give engineering another chance at a different company? Do I just do something completely different and switch from engineering? I did not have the answer. There were so many options out there. With the skill set that I'd gained, I could have gone into engineering, operations, finance. There were so many options, and I was a bit overwhelmed with what to really do. But at the time, I was just working through it. I was accepting it, and I was doing a lot of reflecting and journaling. Then one day it hit me. I was recording a podcast with an amazing girl who was sharing her story, and we ended up talking about self-love, confidence, and women doing what they love. She mentioned that she was in a position where she had so much love for herself that there was minimal negative talk. She was in a happy place, but she didn't know many women who were in that place mentally, physically, and spiritually, or loving what they're doing. And I thought it was quite a rare find as well, because I was in that same place of having really, really high self-love, having the confidence, and in a place that I didn't know what I quite wanted to do, but that was fine because I was super happy at the time. And then something clicked in my head. I knew my strengths and my passion of working with others and supporting others and helping them through their journeys, lifting them up and seeing them succeed. So with this combination of knowing that not many women out there are on that path and are looking for that self-love journey, looking for gaining their confidence, looking at doing something that they love doing, I had the idea of turning Fearless Females into a business. And that's how it all started. I felt that it's my life purpose to support and guide other women through their career journeys, through their starting their own businesses. It's essentially them doing something that they love, finding something that they love and having the confidence to do it, because fears hold us back. And I want women to push forward, overcome their fears and do something that they love, start something. That was what my aim was. And I have a really strong connection to why it's women. So I'm of Indian ethnicity, and speaking to my mom and my aunts, the Indian culture back in the day didn't favor women. And even to this day, some of the traditions and culture which goes against women is still in place. So what I mean by this is that the women would stay at home, cook, clean, and look after the household whilst the men are working. The women would not be given as much freedom as the men. The women would be limited more than men. They wouldn't receive the same opportunities as men. And this is something that I wanted to make a change to. Luckily for me, I was not raised in this way and was given just as many opportunities as my brother, and we were treated as equals. My parents allowed me all the freedom in the world and supported me 100% in every single thing that I have done. So I consider myself very lucky. And this is just how the women are within my family as a whole. So we're all very close-knit, and all of the women are given those equal opportunities. But I know that this type of culture still exists in some families. So not just for Indians, but also in other cultures. I've seen it in South America, I've seen it in the Middle East, and also in certain areas of Asia. It's very common. And this is what, as I said, I want to make an impact to. It's how women are treated in different cultures, traditions, and also society. When I was in the engineering world, there were hardly any women in senior positions. Me, myself, I was paid less than my colleague of the same experience. And when I found that out, I was a little bit in shock. But then he explained to me when a guy goes for a promotion, he's pushing for a higher pay, not ashamed to ask and fights for it. Whereas a woman goes and she feels that she's very grateful for the promotion and there's no talk around pay negotiation. And when he said that to me, I was thinking, damn, that's exactly what I've done in the past. When I was being promoted, not once did I sit there and say, okay, this is what the offer is, but actually I want more because I deserve more because I've done all of these things and here's the evidence to show it. But whereas a guy goes in all confident and thinking, yes, this is great, but I want more and this is why. And after he said that, he told me to ask for more pay and I was very scared, nervous, and I felt very cheeky for doing it. But I did it and I got more pay. And the interesting part is he pushed me into doing that. And since then, I told myself I'm never going to sell myself short. I'm going to negotiate and fight back. I'm going to try and get what I feel I deserve. And this is what I want all women to do. So I feel what we do now in our generation has a huge impact on future generations of girls to come. And it all starts with us, how we women treat each other, how we treat ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we support each other as women. So that's why I decided to start my own coaching business, Fearless Females, and work with women who are struggling in finding themselves, finding what their next move is within their career, or if they need help or support in starting up a business or doing something that they love. I strongly believe it's so important for women not to settle and know that there is more to life. I want the younger generation to know this as well. As the famous saying goes, the world is your oyster. So I want all girls to know that anything is possible and you can fulfill your dreams. You can reach for whatever you want to reach for and the opportunities will come. So back to finding your purpose. There isn't a quick answer to this. Some people find their purpose or find what they love doing at the age of 13. And some people, they find it at 50. Some people still haven't figured it out. There is no right or wrong here, and everyone will go through this at their own pace. The one thing I want to avoid is women putting a time limit on it. There is no time limit. Understand your strengths, what inspires you, what drives you, what you enjoy, and this can all lead to finding your purpose. It took me over 4 years to get to this point, and I wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for my coach. So a massive thank you to her, and I still keep in touch with her as well. And this is now what I want to do for other women. But in your quest to finding your purpose, don't be afraid to take risks or come out of your comfort zone. This is where you'll most grow, and you'll be in a place where you will be challenged and you will be thinking, should I take that chance? Shall I make that difficult decision and do something? Like for me, it was to quit my job, which was a huge risk, let's say. Would I get another job? Would I get another job that paid as well? Would I be able to finance myself for as long as I needed to? There were so many risks involved with what I was doing. And yet for me, my purpose or my happiness came first, which is why I decided to do that. And don't get me wrong, I was in a very comfortable position before quitting, which is why leaving your job is not something that I recommend unless you have outweighed all of the risks. So for me, I did that exercise and I was in a position where I could leave my job. So this is just a key thing here. So quitting is not always the answer. So if you're currently in a position of not being fulfilled, not really knowing what you want to do next, or you feel like you're not progressing in life, in your career, as you would have hoped, then stop and reflect. Give yourself time and space to figure it out. If you're interested in hearing more about how I can support you through my Stuck to Success program, then please do get in touch. I'd love to share more information with you. Also, I sometimes tell my story and I wonder, does anyone else go through this? So I would love to hear from you. Do share with me if you felt like this. If you feel currently in your career that you're not progressing, or you don't feel fulfilled, or you're enjoying it, but you feel like there's more to life, there's more that you want to be doing, but you just don't know what that is. I love hearing from all of you who listen to the podcast. So thank you so much for those who reach out to me. And again, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me or you can reach out via DMs on Instagram or Facebook. I would, as I said, love to hear from you. But that's everything from me. So I've shared more on my story, on me finding my purpose, a bit about giving yourself time and space to find your own purpose, and a few tips on how to get there. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.